it's Suzanne. Thank you for joining me. Hope you're having a good day. I'm having an awesome day. I wanted to do this quick video on introducing you to the Gemini. It is right here, and it's a fabulous die cutting machine. It's actually automatic. It's brilliant, super powerful. And if you've ever wanted to know about die cutting and embossing, how it works, especially how the Gemini works, I take you literally through what I now am calling the Gemini 101. Literally coming out of the box, I'm going to walk you all the way through it, and I even test 3 of the major brands, both embossing and die cutting in this video, so I hope you like it. Yay, my Gemini arrived. It comes in a really sturdy brown box, as you can obviously see. I was very excited, so I cut right into it, and as you open it up, you'll see, ta-da, there it is. Well, I mentioned it's very well packed, so here we are actually opening up the box itself, and you can see everything's included inside there. In our HSN configuration, you get extra goodies. So you start off with the instructions. I'll get into that more. Then we're talking about the plates, which I'll talk a lot about what these do later on in the video, because I think that's some of the really confusing things about working with any embossing system, is making what they call kind of the sandwich, but they give you a ton of plates inside here to work with. Now this is the extra goodies that come with our HSN package, and what you're getting in here is you're getting a whole bunch of dies, you get a bunch of embossing folders, and so it's a really nice value. Of course, then I'm actually unwrapping the rest of it. Obviously, you're gonna take all the plastic off. Yay, that's awesome. And then you plug it in. Only 5 pages of essential instructions, the rest are other languages. I think one of the most confusing things about using an embossing tool or a die cutting tool is actually figuring out the layers. And with the Gemini, you get plenty of layers to work with, which is great, but I wanted to kind of clarify it. Okay, you're gonna get lots of plates, as you saw when you open up the box. This is one of the base plates. It's called the clear cutting plate. I'll definitely talk about layers more in depth in just a second. The next plate that you get is the magnetic shim. It's one of my personal favorites because it keeps things nice and neat and organized. Then you get a rubber embossing mat that's used for doing really intricate embossing when you're not getting the correct pressure or you don't want to overpressure. This is the metal cutting plate, and that's great when you really need to increase more pressure on very fine cuts. The plastic shim you use a lot, that's important, and it's one of the basic plates in the kit. And then the clear cutting plate, the second one you get, is used at the very top layer. You also get these wonderful embossing folders. These are standard size folders, and you get a lot of dies, so you can cut images right out of the box. This is showing how you peel it off the little cardboard that it comes with, and you can see just in that one package there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different dies to work with, and then that right there alone is an immense amount of creativity. Okay, now it's time to talk about the sandwich. This is how everybody refers to it, and the best thing to do is always start from the bottom and work your way up. I find that to be easier. So here's how it works. Let's go to the bottom. You start with a clear cutting plate. Then you're going to see inside there's a frosted plastic plate, or shim. They call it a shim. Then there's a black magnetic shim. As I said, it was one of my favorites. Then with the die, you put the blade side up. Then you have the material above that you want cut, and then the clear cutting plate on top of that. Okay, so we're going to cut a die. So we start off with the clear, then there's the frosted plate. Then we're going to add the magnetic shim. And then there's the die. Now this is really crucial. Be sure the blade side is up. You'll feel it. If it's down, it's going to cut that magnetic shim, and you don't want that to happen. Then what you're going to do is take whatever material you're cutting, whether it's vellum or paper or cardstock, put it on top, and then finish it off with a clear plate. Okay, so here's an example using the dies that I showed you earlier. There's the blade, there's the flat side, the smooth side, and then there's the blade side. You want to place it down, and that magnetic shim is fabulous because it actually holds everything in place when you go to move it so it doesn't slide around. And you can see I'm just going to cut one sheet of paper, but I could do different pieces of cardstock. You know, you could fill the thing up. I could cut one little thing if I wanted to. So there's just several ways to be able to do that. So again, I'm just showing you right there, make sure the blade side is up, facing you. Then of course I'm going to take my cardstock and I place it on top of it. And then I'm going to finish it off with the other clear plastic plate that's included. And then it's now a full sandwich and ready to go in the machine. Let's talk about the glorious machine itself. There are 3 buttons, so it's very simple: power, pause, resume, and reverse. So you turn it on, and once it's turned on, now it's ready to emboss or to cut your die. Now you're going to put the sandwich in there, and what's really neat is the machine automatically grabs it and it's going to take it through and automatically stop on the other side. So you're no longer ever going to hand crank if you've done an old machine before or another style of system. What's also really awesome is if it does not fit correctly, it will spit it back out at you to redesign the layers and the shims. So that's another great feature. Many times though, you don't need to go all the way through because you have a little die you're doing on the edge. So you can just go part way through, reverse it back out towards you, and then it'll be quicker that way. Now here it is, it's come through, and you'll see how beautifully it just cuts everything. If you have a little warping at first, it's kind of understandable because the machine is brand new, but that'll kind of settle down. If you continue to have warping, you have too much pressure on your shims, so you need to adjust that. Let's emboss. Okay, clear plastic plate. There's your embossing folder. You slip a piece of cardstock in there and then use your other clear plastic plate on top of that. Now, of course, you're just going to run it through the machine. There it is, clear embossing folder, another clear plate. The machine grabs it, it runs it through, and of course, it stops automatically on the other side. And I never really get bored of the results. I think it's great. You can take a very inexpensive piece of paper and make it really beautiful in texture using embossing folders. So let's build the next one. All right, here it is, the clear plate, the frosted plate, the magnetic. Don't forget, put the blades towards you. Then you put the cardstock down the clear plate. You're going to place it gently into the Gemini. It says yum yum, and it rolls right through automatically while you're sipping a cup of coffee. Isn't that great? Now what I really like is when you see the final results, I take it and I pull it up and then I flick it to get some of the pieces out, and then you pull it out and you're like, wow, look at that die. Isn't that beautiful? All right, let's do an Anna embossing folder. Again, I'm setting it up there. You can see there's the plastic piece, then there's the embossing folder, and then the other plastic plate. You're going to put it in the machine, and of course the machine's going to magically grab it, and it's going to run it through, and hopefully at the other end you're going to have great results. What I did discover was, so far in my test, everything works identical. So there was no additional shims I needed. I didn't have to fiddle with anything to make it work. And again, it's a little hard to see, but it really turned out beautiful. My third and final test is with Stampin' Up. So here we go. I'm setting up that famous sandwich. There's the Stampin' Up dies, my cardstock, and now I'm going to run through the Gemini. Same is true with the embossing folder. I found that from all three brands that the setup was identical. I didn't have to do anything special or different than the standard instructions. And there's what it looks like coming out, and voila! And finally, here's some extra notes for the clear plates. If you see marks on the clear cutting plates, it's going to happen. And that's okay, they'll last a really, really long time, and then you can replace them down the road. Cracking noises. Sometimes when you put the plates through, or a sandwich through, you'll hear this cracking noise, and it's the plates, and again, typically it's a-okay. And then finally, the warping of the plates. Eventually you're going to see they're going to start to bow or they'll curve. What you want to do is you want to flip them over every now and then so they go through the machine differently, and that'll help reduce the warping of the plates. But again, no worries there. Okay, if you love the video, please share it, and also I'd love you to subscribe to my page, and I'll keep putting up some great creative ideas for you. Thanks, have an awesome day.